But let me tell you, I was on Beyonce's internet and I saw Smokey Robinson singing at SeaWorld. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share to Facebook and or Twitter, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com. All sunshades are $20. That's right, $20. Like I told y'all, I'm fitting to move back to DC, and I need a little pocket change. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, Lulu back there tripping, he on one. Now, let's continue talking about Mary Wells. That fall, however, a dramatic auto accident threatened to throw her off schedule. Wells had landed a performance date with Sam Moore, formerly of the singing duo Sam and Dave, at the Fort Hood military base in Texas. Joyce Moore, Sam's wife, agreed to drive Sam, Mary, Curtis, and Sugar the 69 miles from the Austin, Texas airport to the fort. Joyce was at the wheel of the rented Ford Crown Vic that was carrying the five of them when on a dark road somewhere on the extensive military installation, all of a sudden there's a huge steer in the middle of the highway. Moore remembered. I honked and swerved to avoid him, she said, but he moved and she smashed right into him. It was like hitting a building, she said. When the car and its occupants came to a halt, Moore said she found herself looking goggle-eyed at the steer's rear end, as everyone realized when the animal rolled off the hood and walked away. Ooh, thank you. The steer's weight had crushed the car's hood into the engine block. The cash shortage at this stage of her career may have been partly caused by Wells' drug use. It also may have stemmed from the fact that Wells was often supporting on her tour earnings alone, not only herself, but other members of her extensive family, while also paying fees to her managers, agents, and backup musicians. Moreover, by this time, some nightclubs were paying Mary relatively low performance fees. Tony Russi said Mary's usual pay was $500 a night for Friday night and Saturday night, plus a percentage of the take at the door for Sunday night. Clubs in Los Angeles paid approximately half the rate of clubs elsewhere, Russi said. The clubs argued unconvincingly that the reduced fees were justified because the record industry was concentrated in LA. Therefore, they said every club in the area was really a showcase for vocalists or musicians because music industry execs might be in the audience and offer them a recording contract. Mary told Steve Bergman that in her biggest earning years after she left Motown from 1981 to 1991, when by far the largest part of her income came from touring, she earned no more than $65,000 annually. During that decade, she told friends she was struggling economically. When Bergman asked her on her deathbed how she had supported many family members, she replied, I don't know. That's probably why I'm sick now. Word. Wells continued attempts to save money by economizing on her backup singers. It sometimes worked out to her advantage. Her band member, Will Porter, had been working as a background singer for Wells on some occasions. But at one Sacramento appearance, Wells appealed for additional help and Curtis joined Porter up on stage. All at once, he was perfect, Porter said. As Mary's crowded schedule indicates, she remained popular as a touring artist even while producing no new recordings at all for years. She sang at Disneyland, at the Playboy Club at Anaheim, at Smokey Stover's in Newport Beach, and in Los Angeles, where she opened for the Four Tops. She also opened for the Temptations, who had formerly opened for her. A come down she took in stride. In Reno, Nevada, where Mary performed at the Reno Classic Car Show, she made her entrance between two lines of people throwing flowers at her feet. In Las Vegas, B.B. King attended her show every evening. In Detroit, she sang with the Contours. Mary and her friends found their Motown days. Hey, pause. Let me tell you what fucked me up, okay? But, I mean, you got to take a gig where you can have a gig, okay? But let me tell you, I was online, okay, on Beyonce's internet, and I saw Smokey Robinson singing at SeaWorld. I said, what the fuck is my Smokey Robinson doing at the SeaWorld around this with all them fishes? What is Smokey Robinson singing with the fish? Mary and her friend from their Motown days, Martha Reeves, appeared together at numerous venues, sometimes accompanied by additional former Motown artists. Reeves said they co-starred nearly continuously during the last 3 years of Mary's life. Mary also performed informally whenever and wherever she could at neighborhood clubs. According to Curtis Womack, Mary could go into some club and sing a little bit or talk a little bit without a band, and they'd give her some money like she was doing a gig. Wells never stopped trying, whatever the nature of the venue. Get that, baby. I gotta make my money. She even continued to receive celebrity-oriented publicity. On one radio program in California, the host discussed a proposal for a chain in California of Mary Wells hot dog stands. The major product sold would be a large all-beef hot dog, naturally dubbed the My Guy. In DC, we call it the Glizzy, which would be washed down by an ice-cold glass of You Beat Me to the Punch. Wow. What she gave audiences at these later in life concerts was mostly her Motown classics. And whenever she tried to move away from those well-known tunes, some fans objected. According to author Tony Turner, that would be the TT, he contacted me, y'all. I'm telling you, this is the thing. He has not proven to me that he is TT. Because, like I said, he has no social media presence for me to verify who he is. Okay? And I know he's older and not everybody has one. But hell, if Smokey Robinson can have one. According to author Tony Turner, Mary went out there to a sold-out house and she delivered. That is what made her a star. She delivered what you had paid your money to see. Even when her voice was showing a lot of strain, audiences went wild when she appeared and just adored her. She was a very sweet, polite lady, not a diva, not demanding, very happy-go-lucky. Although she looked like she had fallen on hard times, you just wanted to help her. In the summer of 1987, Mary found herself busing back to the past as she and Curtis, 1-year-old Sugar, and Mary and Cecil's son, Harry, climbed onto a tour bus along with performers Martha Reeves, Eddie Kendricks, and David Ruffin for the 6-week, 28-night Dancing in the Street tour. Remember, when we read the TT book, Tony Turner's book, this is the tour when David Ruffin wanted to knock Martha Reeves' block off. Mary opened each performance. Reeves appeared second, and Kendricks and Ruffin came on third before they all joined together on stage to sing their grand finale, The Way You Do the Things You Do. Reeves recalled this tour and the other 2 tours she did with Wells during these years as a time of great audiences and great performances. Mary was loved everywhere, no matter if she was at her best or not. Absolutely everyone in the audience sang My Guy with her. As usual, Mary distinguished herself by her perseverance and energy, carrying Sugar on her hip while directing Curtis and Harry in loading and unloading the numerous pieces of luggage the party carried with them. The number of people who showed up to watch Mary perform didn't seem to affect her at all, Porter said. She ran on her emotions, he remarked. That's what Pisces do. That's what you water signs do. Porter insisted that Mary would spend more time making sure her fans were okay than making sure her background music was all right. But Mary wanted something from her tours besides emotional connection, money. Not only because she was supporting herself and other family members, but because to her, money was a way of measuring her true worth. It made her very angry when she believed she was being cheated out of cash she had earned, and very sad when she couldn't earn more of it than she did. In many ways, this trait explains her departure from Motown at the top of her fame and her endless energy in pursuing fortune, not fame, for the rest of her life. The very talented Diana Ross was almost completely the opposite, quite possibly because her family was well off compared to Mary's. She sought fame from early youth and was never particularly worried about money. Okay, I get that. But bullshit the baker. Money was the reason why she left Motown. Okay, and because Bertie Gordy wouldn't marry her. By contrast, whenever Ross was ignored or only a few people showed up for one of her concerts, she often erupted in fury because she's an Aries, and that's what they do. They get angry. Wells, however, appeared disinterested in celebrity per se. She didn't care about seeing her face on a billboard. She didn't watch video performances of herself on TV. You couldn't get her to sit down and watch one, Tony Russi said. She wouldn't go to rock clubs like the Roxy in LA, even though all those English rock guys were crazy about her and would have made a tremendous fuss over her. Because of this lack of interest in fame, and according to Porter, due to all of Mary's traumas, her changing relationships and changing apartments, she didn't hold on to anything, including the gold records she had been awarded, or in fact almost any record at all. When Wells toured the United Kingdom with the Beatles in 1964, she had provided hundreds of thousands of Britons with their first exposure to Motown's music. In recognition of this, the first Motown fan club in England was named the Mary Wells Fan Club until its name was changed later to the Tamla Motown Appreciation Society. Motown flew the society's founder, Dave Godin, to Detroit to interview Mary in order to emphasize the company's international reach. The general reaction in England to many of the Motown's artists leaving the company was disappointment. So it's no surprise that an English record producer, Ian Levine, made one last attempt to revive Wells' recording career, as well as those of many other Motown performers who had left Motown but had failed to prosper at other labels. Levine, who grew up in the English resort town of Blackpool, was always listening to the radio. At 18, he became a DJ in one of the many British clubs that featured the Detroit sound. In 1987, he founded his own record label, Nightmare, which was named after the song Like a Nightmare, recorded by the Ardantes in 1964 before they became better known as a Motown backup group. For Nightmare, he first recorded some songs by former Motown vocalist Kim Weston, who was best remembered for It Takes Two, a 1966 duet with Marvin Gaye. Wells, who was the first of Gaye's duet partners, was the obvious next step. Levine first hired her to record her classic hits. Then, when she was performing in London in the late 1980s, he took the opportunity to record her singing two tunes he co-wrote for her. Don't Burn Your Bridges, and You're the Answer to My Dreams, both of which he released as singles on the Nightmare label. Both songs were released again in 1990 on the Motor City album, Keeping My Mind on Love. Murray poured her usual energy into Don't Burn Your Bridges, but her vocal range seems somewhat limited. The record is also marred by two cheesy exchanges between Mary and Curtis Womack at the beginning of the tune. Womack sings, "Oh baby, I don't want to leave, but I think I gotta go now." Mary sings and replies, "If you must leave, make it the last time." Levine co-wrote and Mary recorded 4 of the new songs between 1988 and 1990. Walk the City Streets, Hold On a Little Longer, Keeping My Mind on Love, and Stop Before It's Too Late, all of which are on the Motor City album. After Britain's army of Motown fans urged Levine to expand his recording effort, the developing record mogul, by then a 34-year-old Motown fanatic, decided to live his dream by recording in both America and England every ex-Motown artist whose contract allowed them to cooperate, including Martha Reeves, Marv Johnson, The Contours, The Elgins, Rare Earth, and The Velvets. In all, Levine in the 1980s and 90s recorded more than 850 songs by more than 100 former Motown artists, including Wells' ex-husband, Herman Griffin, on both Nightmare and Motor City. Levine's project was great fun for everybody. It led to a much publicized reunion of many ex-Motowners outside the former Motown studios at 2648 West Grand Boulevard in Detroit, complete with outlandish outfits, bear hugs, and numerous exchanges of old-timey memories. Early Motowners often referred to themselves as family. Murray, Curtis, Sugar, Porter, and Martha Reeves toured England to promote the album and the singles that Levine had recorded. Unfortunately, however, relatively few copies of the Motor City and Nightmare singles or albums that resulted from Levine's exertions were sold during Wells' lifetime. That's so frigged up. As the 1980s became the 1990s, Wells' voice, formerly her glory, became her burden. As usual, she was performing everywhere, but her voice was cracking when she performed on a TV program live from the Rock and Roll Palace in 1987. She attributed her condition to swollen lymph nodes in her throat, a common singer's ailment for which she had been successfully treated during the 1960s. Pop and rock and roll singers, few of them are operatically trained, often strain their voices in various ways. Mary's problem had progressed beyond the lymph node stage. She refused to see a doctor, however.